Hello and welcome to Tokyo Inklings. My name is CY and you can find me on my website at tokyostationpens.com, on Instagram and TikTok at tokyostationpens, and on Twitter at tokyostationmnh.
And my name is Jacob. I'm foodafan on Instagram and have a blog at foodafan.com.
And this is Emergency Episode 3.
Yes, very exciting. We haven't done one of these in a while now, but I think today's topic is emergency worthy. So I think this
Emergency worthy.
Yes.
I also think we're not going to have an episode next week, right? I mean, because we're going to be at Tips on the 12th. So this is actually a pretty good timing for us to release one of these.
It is. Yeah, so let's get into today's topic then. And before I cover today's news, just do a very quick recap. So Tomoe is the company that owns and manufactures Tomoe River. And in 2019, they announced they were shutting down one of their largest and oldest papermaking machines, the now famous Shizuoka plant number 7. At the same time, they announced that they are going to move manufacturing of Tomoe River from number 7 to machine number 9. And then this year, I think in May this year, they announced that they are going to shut down machine number 9 as well, because as they explained in the recent earnings call, machine number 7 and machine number 9, they are their oldest and most expensive papermaking machines, so there's a huge running cost associated with keeping them running. So that's when this whole panic started, and as we have covered on the podcast earlier, I contacted Tomoe back in June, I think, and I asked them, now that you're shutting down machine number 9, what is going to happen to Tomoe River? And their response to me at the time was that they are considering Kentochu contract manufacturing, but they didn't have anything to announce yet, but they were going to let their channel partners know as soon as they have more information. So that's the background.
You know, there's a lot packed into it. Obviously, we did a lot of analysis on that, and you can find that on episodes 32, 33, and 41, where we do talk about Tomoe River as well. Now, I will say that the first Tomoe River on, I believe, machine number 7, right? That is the beloved Tomoe River that we all know and love. And that's what's been in the Hobonichis, as well as in the Sakai Technical for fountain pen notebooks. And once they moved to number 9, it would not have been a big deal if it were not for the fact that the paper on number 9, at least some batches of it, were just outright terrible, right? I mean, like bleeding, feathering, all sorts of crazy things. I believe I used some of number 9's paper. It was in that Kamiterier kind of sampler pack for the 6-ring techos, and it was bleeding all over the place. It bled through my paper. It was feathering. I mean, it was not a good paper. Although I have heard other reports that other batches seem to have stabilized afterwards, but clearly, you know, moving from machine number 7 to machine number 9 introduced a lot of complexities that they didn't intend to have, and that just shows how even small adjustments to how the paper is made really impacts the result and the quality of that paper.
That's true. Another thing worth mentioning is that there's been so much misinformation and so many rumors about this, including from people that really should know better. But one thing that's really worth emphasizing is that Tomoe has never said that they're discontinuing Tomoe River as a product, right? There's been a lot of rumors about that, but their announcements have only been in terms of their equipment, their machines. They've never said that the product Tomoe River is going away.
But it has been said by Sakai Technical that their discontinuing their line of Tomoe River. And I think it's good here to also take a step back and understand that Sakai Technical and Tomoegawa, they're the ones that co-developed Tomoe River for writing uses, right? Because Tomoe River was originally developed for magazines. So I believe that is the case, that Sakai Technical and Tomoegawa worked together to develop this product.
So my understanding is that they may have been involved in what's called 68-4 stationery, and that is actually gone now from Tomoegawa's product page. But the 52 GSM version, I mean, it's predated Sakai's involvement, and I mean, Da Vinci has been selling 52 GSM Tomoe River for over 30 years, so it's been around for a while. Now, let's talk about today's news. So today, Tomoegawa announced that they are selling Tomoe River. They're selling the rights to Tomoe River to another company called Sanzen Seishi, or Sanzen Paper Manufacturing, which is a smaller company based in Kanazawa, if I understand correctly. And this seems to be a smaller company that is doing specialty papers like waterproof papers and so on. But Sanzen Paper Manufacturing is owned by a much bigger company called Chuetsu Pulp. And Chuetsu Pulp is one of those huge paper manufacturers. It's actually has almost twice the market cap of Tomoegawa. So it's definitely a big company. And
before we continue there, it's also important to note that Sanzen, while it might be a smaller company, it was established in 1948. So by no means is this a random new company that has no idea what's going on.
Right. And the specifics of this deal is that Sanzen Paper Manufacturing gets the rights to Tomoe River, and they get some inventory. But as far as I can tell, based on the press release, they're not getting any equipment as such. And they're getting this for 300 million yen. So what this all means is that Tomoegawa decided to, instead of keeping the rights to Tomoe River and letting someone else manufacture it, they ended up deciding to sell the rights to the name as well. And another way of putting it is that Tomoe River lives on.
That is a way of putting it. But again, even within the same company, just moving machines did cause a huge change in the quality of the paper. So I don't think that we can expect this new Tomoe River, let's call it Sanzen Tomoe River, I don't think we can expect it to have the same kind of properties as the old Tomoe River. Now, I think it's quite interesting because I'm reading the press release, and on the press release, it has details. I mean, several things are interesting. But first, it has details about the selling company and the buying company. And for the selling company, it's obviously Tomoegawa. And in the description of what this company does, it says they make paper, they recycle plastics, they make electric... digital photos, they make parts for electronics, all sorts of different things. They make parts for IC chips and stuff like that. So lots of different things, right? And then in the buying company, what it says in the business portion is they make paper. They print paper. So for me, this is actually a good sign because it's going from a company that does a lot of things and they probably started with paper and they diversified into different business units, and then they found that paper is actually not what they want to do as a business, but they were doing it just because they kept on doing it for many, many years. And their paper was great, right? Tomoe River was a great paper. But now I think it's good that it's moving to a company who's actually, makes paper for their entire business. And we won't have paper doesn't make us money, so we're, not going to do it. If that happens, that means, the company's going out of business.
Right. But also, I don't think this company, Sanzen and Chuetsu Pulp, I don't think they came out of nowhere and said, we're going to buy these assets and we'll figure out how to make the paper. I highly suspect, even though it doesn't say so in the announcement, I highly suspect that they have been working with Tomogawa and maybe will be working with Tomogawa to make sure the paper will be as close as possible to the original. And we have heard sort of suggestions also elsewhere that is taking place. So I suspect that there's going to be a transfer of know-how and collaboration involved in this. So I don't think they're going to start from scratch and have to figure out how to make something that looks like Tomoe River.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to start from scratch. I think, again, it will be down to like the calibration of the machines, the really minute parts. Also, I want to draw attention to the price that they bought Tomoe River for.
Right, 300 million yen.
That's not a lot of money.
Right, but what you're getting for it is the trademark and some inventory, right? They're not getting any equipment. So I'm sure that this is just a big plus for Tomogawa. And they also, as part of this, they published like the revised projected earnings for the next quarter, and they revised it up because of this so-called extraordinary income. So I think this is a good deal for Tomogawa.
Yeah, I was surprised at how low this number is. I mean, for reference, it's about $3 million, which is, not cash that I have in my bank account. But still, $3 million to buy the trademark and to basically own the brand, I think is quite cheap, considering that, Tomoe River has a strong base of customers, right? I mean, if you think about like Hobonichi, I'm sure Hobonichi buys more than $3 million of Tomoe River every year. If you think about, they have with Da Vinci, right? With Sakai Technical, like all these different retailers and channel partners that they have, when you consider that and the kind of business that exists there, I think it's quite interesting that this deal was relatively low value when you think of it in terms of like corporate deal making. I think you would know more than me about how much on average M&As what kind of size they are, but for me I was pretty surprised, and I had a chuckle when they said that the way that they transferred the money, the way that they paid was by Ginko Furikomi, like bank transfer.
Yeah. I saw that.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. But yeah, this release was very, very interesting. On the other hand, they run, or they used to run, a Facebook group. Tomoe River did, and very interestingly, this Facebook group Tomoe River is not going to be transferred to Sanzen Seishi. It's actually going to shut down. They said 今回で最後になります. So they're not going to update this Facebook anymore. So I'm just curious, like, why is it that they took all the rights, but then they're actually getting rid of this channel? Maybe somebody just forgot because its Facebook page is not that popular.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I haven't really followed this Sanzen company or even Chuetsu Pulp much, but I would suspect that these companies aren't really that much into social media. They might not even realize that this is a valuable channel.
Yeah, it is pretty interesting, and I'm reading here now. Yeah, you're right that Da Vinci has been selling this paper for almost 40 years now. Tomoe River started sales in 1982, but they started the FP series, fountain pen series, in 2014. So that's probably when the collaboration with Sakai.
Yeah, my understanding is that Tomoe River FP, that trademark, that name is Sakai Technical Papers product name. right? And that is the name that is gone from Tomoegawa's website now.
And so you spoke with Sakai Technical, I believe, a few months ago now, at the Inken Stationery Show, out in Shinjuku, and they mentioned that they were working on with Tomoe River a new paper, right?
Yes, they mentioned that, and there's more to that than I can say here, but they seemed quite optimistic. And as we mentioned at the time, this new paper called Iruful is not a replacement for Tomoe River, but rather another product that's going to live alongside their Tomoe River quote-unquote replacement.
And is this consistent with what they told you?
They might not have all the details themselves in terms of how this is going to be, in terms of ownership. Either that or they couldn't tell me, they weren't willing to tell me. But my suspicion is that Tomoegawa has been talking to maybe Chuetsu Pulp for a while now, and maybe the deal just took a different shape than was originally planned. But I suspect that they have been working together on a form of Tomoe River manufacturing for a while now.
And so what do you think is the future of Tomoe River? As a paper. I'm actually pretty curious, like, why did they keep the name of Tomoe River?
Why is that surprising?
I feel like they could have introduced, like, a new paper, working with Tomoe River, and then called it something else, because I feel like now this adds to the confusion, right? There's like old Tomoe River, new Tomoe River, and then Sanzen Tomoe River.
Yeah, it's possible, but I also think, maybe they have realized, especially in recent years. We talked before about how, many years ago, few people actually knew what Tomoe River was, but it's now very well known in stationary circles. I think there's definitely value in that name, and if they manage to make something that closely resembles number 7, I think they will be heroes, and I think that will be very good for them.
Yeah, that is very interesting. I think that's all that I have on this news. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, the only thing I want to mention is that I do follow these companies. I follow Tomoegawa at least very closely, and I check every day for news. But today, as this was announced, I was very busy at work, and so I heard about it for the first time from a friend of the show, Freya X Friaria on Instagram. To credit to her for telling me about this.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. One more thing that I wanted to add is they actually had a separate. So the press release that we just talked about was coming from Chuetsu Pulp, which is their parent company. The actual company that's going to make the paper also released a press release today, and basically it says that they are buying Tomoe River to strengthen their sales base. So it says that let me see. It says that the sale will be completed, or they will take ownership on the 28th November of 2021, and the 28th being a Sunday, it's obviously a rest day. So they're going to start shipping the new Tomoe River on the 29th, which is a Monday. And the last time that the Tomoe River that will be shipped from Tomoegawa's factories will be the 26th, which is a Friday.
The interesting about that is how soon it happens. Again, this shows that they're not coming out of nowhere and they're going to start to figure out how to make this paper, right? This has been in the works for a while.
No, it's already made. Yeah, the paper is already made. They've already tested it.
And I suspect, again, this is reading between the lines, and I suspect that we are going to hear from Sakai Technical Paper that they're going to sell this. That's my guess.
I don't know if we should release the email addresses of these poor folks who are going to get bombarded with questions.
No, let's not do that. I mean, we put a link to the press release. If they're willing to look at our show notes and click on the PDF links, then by all means, go ahead.
Yeah. But yeah, that's been, I think, the episode. It's pretty good news. I am excited to check out this Sanzen Tomoe River. I hope it's better than Iroful. But yeah, I am very hyped. I'm happy that this is happening.
Yeah, and again, for me, the headline is Tomoe River lives on.
Tomoe River lives on.
Yes.
In a way.
In a way.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And with that, that's been the episode. Thank you all so much. You can find us on our website at tokyoinklings.com. My name is CY. You can find me on my website at tokyostationpens.com, on Instagram and TikTok at tokyostationpens, and on Twitter at tokyostationmnh.
And my name is Jacob. I'm foodafan on Instagram and on Twitter, and have a blog at foodafan.com.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.